So the key takeaways I wanted to provide these students tonight is essentially a triad of information. It's first of all understanding the key essential skills that you're trying to take from any technology lesson, combining those with the key soft skills that are going to be required to help you be an effective employee and understand how that's going to fit into your next stage on your career path. And it's really important that as I spoke with students, I wanted to get that point across so that they can quickly see that connection. And one of the more important points that came up was I discussed with them people that I was inspired by that I've been watching lately. And I called to a video just because he's someone who I think sometimes makes a lot of sense. And I spoke to the fact of doing something 1,000 times is so much different than doing something 50 or 100 times. So if you're struggling with doing something 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, you really have to understand if you were to do that specific task or try to do that specific thing 1,000 times, how is it going to be different? And what I'm essentially trying to say here, and Alex tries to say when he speaks, is that repetition is tremendously important and also a judge of motivation. So if you're willing to put the time in to learn a specific technical skill, and I spoke to in this particular class the desire to practice writing a code and debugging it until you got no errors. If you're willing to put in that practice 1,000 times, not only does that show your willingness to solve the problem and be a problem solver, but it also shows your desire to be better at what you're trying to do and to improve, and your motivation to actually keep working harder than others are. So there's a big difference when you're trying to do something and you expect a very quick result versus when you're really trying to work on something and you're going to do it hundreds or thousands of times in order to make sure it works. And it's an important lesson in resiliency. And I see it as an important part of the connecting the core skill to the soft skill to the career skill. You have to put all of those pieces together in order to see what your next step is going to be. It's important for you to think about, and you're thinking about how to apply the skills that you know, that you document your learning as well. Utilize a learning journal, utilize ways to make sure that your knowledge is captured because you're probably learning quite a bit, and you need to make sure that you can identify the keywords that you're learning, the skills that you're learning, and you're understanding them in the context of your learning. One thing I try to get across to students tonight is that so many students are in different places, and you really can't judge yourself against other students. It's important that you understand that you're different, you come with a different skill set, there's things you need to learn, there's things others need to learn, and it's important that you embrace the moment of your learning, you take your notes, you study, you do what you need to do in order to make sure that you're going to be an effective student. You can't begin to measure yourself against others. You can't begin to compare yourself. And then you need to begin fighting for yourself in terms of getting your first opportunity. You need to basically try to get the interview in the positions that you want. Be realistic. If you're not getting those opportunities, you need to ask others what you might be able to do to improve yourself. You might want to find a mentor. You might want to ask others, how does my resume look? You might want to ask others, what can I do to be better? You might want to reach out on social networks and find out what are the next steps that I really should take to get that next opportunity so that you are not delusional about the opportunities that you want. But you also can be realistic and understand what next steps are going to be the best for you. And that's going to be the most important part is as a learner, you need to find out what are the next best steps for you. Don't compare yourself. Don't start to compete. But realize that it's a journey you need to take on your own. You need to figure out your next steps. You need to find your own mentors. You need to take care of your own learning, take care of your own responsibilities, and do what it takes to get yourself to the next level. It's very important that you do that. If you don't do that, It's very important that you, in part of being realistic, it's important to understand that you're ultimately in charge of your future. It's going to be up to you to learn the required skills. It's going to be up to you to learn how you're going to apply those skills. It's going to be up to you to identify, how do I get this into my resume and into my social media profiles the right way? How am I going to present myself in a way that's going to get me the opportunity? And I think that's what I'm really trying to get across with my students, is that all of this learning is going somewhere, but you have to follow through and you have to be persistent and you have to learn. It's really important to address your motivation with your technology learning and how you're going to take it to the next level. What types of resources you're going to use, how are you going to advance that skill and explain that skill clearly. I'll be honest, at this time of the semester, the very beginning of the summer, students are beginning to lack motivation. And it's because they're not working with as many students. They're not feeling the heat of the fall semester. They're thinking about enjoying themselves. They're thinking about other things. But there are students who are thinking about, how can I improve myself? What can I do to get that step ahead? And the crazy part is the magic happens right when you begin to apply yourself. So once you get past the first couple hurdles of being persistent, you're going to find that you may have learned more than you thought you've learned. And it kind of happens in that rut of just getting into the content. Then once you're over that hump, you're going to have some confidence and you're going to begin to explore new concepts, and you're going to feel like, how can I explain this knowledge as part of my career development? So I think it's important to think about, what's one thing that you're currently learning that could show up in a job interview? For my students, it's command line programming. What types of commands do what processes are important? What systems are important? What operating systems are important? What kind of infrastructure is important? All of these things are important concepts. And what you need to do is you need to translate your current understanding into something that's going to be applicable to you on the next level. Well, thanks for joining me at Digital Futures Education, checking out another video. I appreciate you listening to discuss my student experiences. Hope you come back again real soon. I hope you subscribe. See you soon. Bye. Thanks for joining us. Welcome back to Digital Futures Education. Tonight I'm going to talk about some of the questions my students have for me during class. The first question I got tonight was, should we apply for help desk jobs before we complete a certification? I encourage students to apply for help desk jobs and entry-level positions before completing a certification. But I also warn them to make sure that when they do eventually get an interview, that they're honest about the completion of that certification, and they're honest about their progress and what they know and don't know about what they've been learning. But I do think it's important that they do let people know that they are working on a certification and they are moving forward with it. And it's okay to apply for a position, and it's okay to talk about the skills you've learned, but never misrepresent yourself. So one question I answered tonight, and I get this in my boot camps, and I get this in my IT classes all the time. What are the keywords that I should be adding to my resume or my LinkedIn profile in order to get attention? This could be after a course or after a specific piece of training. How can I identify those words, and how can I add them to the places that are most important? So my answer to that, first of all, is look at the course or the certification that you're currently working on. There are keywords listed in the description of that particular certification that are going to be helpful to you in the job search. And one way that you can take those keywords out of those descriptions is to take them, put them into a tool like LinkedIn as a search under jobs, and you'll find job descriptions which are related to those search terms. Now, you're also going to find search terms in tools like Indeed or other search tools, and those are going to be the search terms that are going to bring up the most results. And what you're going to want to do with those keywords, and in this particular course, it's Bash scripting, it's IT administration, it's command line programming. What you're going to want to do with those terms is you're going to want to take those terms, not only put them into LinkedIn and see what types of jobs come out of them, but you're also going to want to take those terms and those job descriptions that you identify and then put them into an AI tool like ChatGPT and take that job description and see if you can tailor it for what you're seeking. You're also going to want to take those terms and update your own LinkedIn profile with skills and keywords for your own profile. That would be the first step you should take after any course, certification, or training at taking those keywords and using them for your next key step. So one question I had was, can we list specific projects or experience, such as Raspberry Pi projects or personal projects, as experience? And just to follow up, as I did in the other question related to experience, you can. And sometimes it's these experiences that can amazingly help explain what you know. And what you know is the most valuable thing to an employer. So you want to be thoughtful about what you're including as experience, but don't be afraid, specifically with things that are highly technical or you really feel like can demonstrate your knowledge, to include them. But also be selective, be thoughtful, and make sure that what you're sharing does connect to the experience that you're attempting to show in that next opportunity. The next question I addressed was, what counts as being certified towards a job or a job application? We often see this term included in job descriptions, certified for this or certified for that. And a certification can be an industry-specific certification, such as CompTIA, or an additional cybersecurity certification. But it could also mean a very short-term certification towards a very specific set of skills. I encourage students to list as many of the career skills they have on their resume, and reminded them that it's very important that their experiences match their skill sets, and that if there are keywords that they can include within their LinkedIn profile or on their resume, it's important to add them, particularly as they take courses or start to expand their knowledge in other areas. So it's always important to best understand what certification means, not only for a specific job role, but is it referring to a specific certification that's available in the industry, or something more specific to something available within the industry, and make sure that they represent themselves accurately and truthfully. This next question is a great one. How do we showcase our class projects or personal projects to employers? So I encourage all students to create a digital portfolio that not only includes the keywords related to their skills, but also has photos, videos, a list of their accomplishments or projects that they've worked on. And this could be a home-based project, this could be a volunteer project, this could be a school project, or even a work project. But these are projects which describe the context, the nature of the work, and why it was valuable to their learning. These projects can be very important at showcasing hands-on skills that can help an employer understand the value of the person applying for the job. These can be included in digital portfolios. I highly recommend using a tool like Canva, something visual that has multimedia like video, links, and also can be exported as a PDF and added to your LinkedIn profile or linked to a resume. A digital portfolio is a great way of showcasing your projects, what they mean to you, and how they feel like they connect to your skills. Another related question was, is it better to finish a cert before applying or finish a cert before you apply? And as much as it's closely related to the first question, the answer is very similar. And what I'm going to say is that a certification is really important if you can get it finished. Make sure that you finish what you start and are always prepared to answer questions about your progress on any certification.
Welcome back to Digital Futures Education, where we help you build the skills, develop the confidence, develop the clarity to launch or level up your tech career. Whether you're just starting out, looking to switch paths, or just learning to grow. We have coaching, support with certifications, and tools to help you. Visit digitalfutureseducation.com to start your journey today. So in this video, I'm going to go through the top career questions, and they're from a broad range of levels. I'm going to give you a question, provide a basic introductory answer, and then provide some additional insight into the topic. The question is, what is the most common entry-level IT positions? The answer for this is IT support, help desk technician or specialist, desktop support, or junior systems admin. These are all entry-level positions that you might see posted and listed as entry-level, but realize that these are just a selection of titles. You're going to find a lot of IT support specialist positions, which are entry-level, and you're going to also see organizations which are looking for people to come in as entry-level, but maybe take on even more tasks than an entry-level position might provide. So don't always limit yourself to just every single entry-level job description that you see. Give yourself an opportunity to review the skills and qualifications for all the positions, the company culture, climate, and what they're really looking for. Become an expert at reading the job description to best tailor where you apply. The next question is, do I need a degree to start a career in IT? Do I need a degree to get a career in IT? The quick answer to this is no. There are many entry-level positions available that request certifications or some hands-on experiences or are willing to train based on your past experience. So it's best to be able to explain yourself, your knowledge, your ability, if you are coming in with limited experiences, to how you can support the role. And remember, in many interview situations, your ability to demonstrate your soft skills, such as teamwork, collaboration, and ability to work with others while still being technically proficient is very important. And remember, everyone starts somewhere. You just need to get your foot in the door with an opportunity and sell that accompany your tech skills, whether it's organization, ability to work as a team, ability to share your knowledge with others, and get along and work in an IT or technical environment and explain yourself and your skills is incredibly valuable. The next question is, which certifications should I start with? Now, the short answer here is certifications aren't necessarily required. They're just a great way to begin developing your skills and also be able to demonstrate your skills to a potential employer. If I were to recommend one to get started, it would be the CompTIA A+ certification. You could also look at the Google IT support certification, and there are other types of certifications, but these are the most widely known, so others, such as employers, are aware of these certifications. They show that you do have a wide range of knowledge in the topic area, but it's still going to be up to you to demonstrate how you can utilize this knowledge for the organization. So if you do start to go down the path of certifications, you need to remember you also need to start to find ways to demonstrate your knowledge of what you're learning with these certifications or with any other type of experience you're gaining. The next question is a pretty simple one, but what is IT support? So to quickly answer this question, IT support is the frontline support for IT issues, needs, and topics within an organization. It's the front line for solving technical issues that come into the organization through its use of technology. Within IT support, there is going to be a wide range of roles, potentially such as help desk support, junior system admins, even senior system admins, those who design networks, those who work just on the front lines in first tier support, all the way up to supporting the entire infrastructure. So understanding those different roles within IT support is incredibly important. The next question is, what skills are needed for help desk roles and positions? The answer is a wide range of knowledge, depending on what the position is doing. But essentially, it's going to require good communication skills, good ability to work as a team, knowledge of Windows applications, knowledge of Windows networks and how they're set up and structured and also administered, how users are administered in an organization, how user roles are within an organization. You're going to need to be a good problem solver. You're going to need to be a good problem solver, also creative at solving problems. And it's going to also be beneficial for you to understand ticketing systems and how the organization processes its. It's going to be valuable to you to understand ticketing systems and how the organization works to solve issues that come in through its ticketing system. Understand the tiers of tickets, the expected time frame in which tickets are to be dealt with, and also the documentation of different tickets and topics that are technical support issues within the organization. Now, this question is one I get all the time, and it really comes down to the person. How can I learn IT with no experience? And I would say another part of this question that I often hear is, how do I get opportunities and without hands-on experiences? Now, there are two different unique questions, but they're kind of similar in how you want to address them. One way is just to start with free labs, courses at home, applying your own home projects and labs, computer work, repairing devices that may be broken that your friends may have or your family may have, helping family members understand their own technology issues and helping them solve all problems that they might have with technology. But you want to think about how can you take these skills that you are interested in learning more and continue to develop them. What types of other resources do you need? Do you want to go to a boot camp? Do you want to learn more with an organization like mine? Do you want to learn more about a specific technical skill or do a certification? All of that lends to the hands-on experience, and you have to continue to develop that as you go along. So to start is with the free courses, labs, resources you find online related to topics in IT that you connect with. But you want to make sure you don't stop there. You always continue to develop that experience so that you can speak about it in a job interview. So then our next question, what is the best first project for someone working or looking to work in IT? Now, the answer to best project is definitely an opinion. There are a wide range of projects that you can start with. I would recommend potentially installing the Linux operating system on a computer that you own, potentially building a home lab. And always, there are generally opportunities to troubleshoot PCs or Macintosh computers that your friends or family may be having issues with. Even learning to diagnose what the problem is, whether it's a hard drive issue, whether it's a software issue, and learning how to begin to develop answers and really work your troubleshooting skills. That's a great place to start. The next question, is IT a good place for career changers? Is IT a good career for career changers? And it's definitely a yes. It's flexible and it values hands-on learning. And it doesn't always matter what your academic background is like. So if you had a degree from another background, it's all adaptable to your ability to learn, but it's not necessarily essential to IT. Now, on the other side of that, also remember, as a career changer, you have a tremendous amount of value with your past experiences that you can bring to your new IT position. This could be adaptability with learning new technologies and being effective at them. Also understanding how technology fits within an organization and what its role is. And you might be just a dynamite troubleshooter. You've probably been helping people for years. So as you look to transition into IT from maybe another field, think about those skills that you developed in those other jobs and careers that you may have had before that you can translate into IT. The next question, how long does it take to land a job in IT? And typically, I would say 3 to 6 months of study and dedication to looking for that opportunity to get your foot in the door, and I will typically yield a result. Now, was it your dream result? Potentially not, but definitely within 3 to 6 months, you can get an interview. You can look at internship opportunities. You can begin to discuss your career plans with others and start to envision yourself within IT in a specific area and begin to talk with those who are in the positions that you want to get into. So you definitely want to do a dedicated 3 to 6 months of investing yourself in getting a career opportunity in IT. And in that time, you'll be studying maybe for a certification. You might be doing a home lab or other projects, and also building your resume and career components, such as your resume, your LinkedIn profile, your social media presence, and even a digital portfolio that can support you with getting your foot in the door. Should you apply for jobs, even if you don't have a certification yet? I think this is definitely a yes. Even if you haven't completed a certification, as long as you can show progress in your learning and your desire to complete that certification or that knowledge in that field, you want to be able to relay that to your potential employer. If you're actively working and studying within an area of IT, you're going to be able to speak about that, which can be a benefit to the organization you're applying for. And it also shows your commitment to the topic. You've been spending focused your next career move into IT and how it is for you to get a position in that field. Do I need to know programming to get into IT? And this is a definite not at the start of your IT career. IT support roles are not programming focused. Now, that's not to say that you won't learn potentially some Linux or PowerShell command programming and some systems administration, which utilizes programming skills as you whether choose specific certifications or acquire skills for a position. It also doesn't mean that you won't learn scripts to run on applications in order to be a more efficient technology support specialist. But when you're first starting, some of those programming languages out there like Java or Python are not necessarily a key part of the role. It's definitely a nice to have if you have some programming experience that you can bring into your IT position, but it's not essential, as usually someone who's been focused in programming is probably going to be more focused in software development or programming as opposed to specifically IT support. What's the difference between IT support and computer science? IT support is more about managing and supporting an information technology infrastructure of an organization and their technology systems. Computer science, CS, is more about theory and development. It's more about specific programming languages, how they can work together. Is CompTIA Plus worth it? CompTIA A Plus certification is worth it. It's going to showcase your industry knowledge of Windows, Macintosh computers, networking, mobile device management, and a wide range of important enterprise valued skills, abilities, troubleshooting skills, and ways that you can apply your knowledge in specific situations and scenarios in an IT support role. Employers are also aware of the certification. They understand that employers understand that it's not something you can do overnight. It requires preparation and does show commitment when you've passed the certification to learning more about the IT infrastructure across organizations. Completion of the CompTIA certification shows your commitment to understanding the broad range of support topics that are common in information technology. What is the salary range for entry-level IT support professionals? The salary range is generally 40 to 60 to even 65,000, depending on region, location, state, and the breadth and specifications of the job. But most entry-level positions are within that range. It may also go up depending if you have additional certifications or training to support the role. And a good resource for checking on these numbers is the United States Department of Labor website. Can I freelance in IT support? Definitely. You can definitely freelance with IT support in the area of setting up devices for an organization, and also general troubleshooting of topics that they want to hire out for. Also, you can also look at temporary positions You can also look at temporary positions that are available in order to get your feet wet in IT and get your familiarity with the work environment. What soft skills are important in IT? The soft skills important in IT are communication, collaboration, teamwork, customer service, and definitely adaptability, plus many other skills. But I would say adaptability, customer service, and your ability to work as a team member to solve problems and problem solve is essential. How can I gain experience without a job? Consider volunteering opportunities, internships, and as I've said, home labs, boot camps can get you hands-on experiences, and I provide some of those. And work on developing a portfolio of these experiences so that you can showcase them to others. How do I answer interview questions if I don't have experience with a position? First of all, do a mock interview with a friend or family member. Develop some questions that you think might be part of that interview and practice answering them. Also, practice answering those questions based on the experiences you have, so you can practice speaking about your experiences in a practice interview. With not having a lot of experiences, you can focus on projects and labs that you've done before, coursework that you've completed, and learn how to talk about what you've learned and how it can be valuable and how it can help solve problems that showcase some of your soft skills and some of the value you can be as an employee. Should I get a home lab or create one? I would say yes. Learn how to build a home computing lab where you build your own systems, test your own virtual machines, do your own projects that you can work on developing specific types of skills and practice what you want to learn. All of that practice is going to deepen your knowledge of IT support skills, troubleshooting, and build a knowledge in a wide range of areas as you learn and grow. It's also going to show initiative and fine-tune those skills. What's the best way to practice IT skills daily? Potentially work in your home lab daily and try some new projects out. Help family and friends with issues they might be having with technology. Let them know you're available. Utilize simulation tools to help create scenarios that you can help problem solve and fix. So thank you for joining me in this video. We address some of the most common questions for IT career starters, where we address some of the most common questions those looking to get into IT have. Thank you for visiting Digital Futures Education, where we help you build the skills, confidence, and clarity to help you launch or level up your career. Visit digitalfutureseducation.com to get started today.